Hey there, amplifiers. Have you ever thought, I just don't have enough capacity to take on more business right now? Sadly, I've heard that phrase quite a few times. That is an opportunity to take new actions and amplify in a different way because there's always an opportunity to amplify. If you can't take on clients from a one-to-one capacity, there's other ways that you can serve people. You can create things once and leverage it many times, or you can do a one-to-many solution. Our guest today is the Salon financial growth expert and the founder of the Salon CFO and Salon Bookkeepers. He really helps people who have salons make sure that they're understanding their cash flow, understanding their numbers, and become more profitable so they can actually enjoy being the owner of their business. And really excited to have William Ross here today. So, William, thank you for being here and for sharing your knowledge and expertise with Growth Amplifiers.
Absolutely. I'm really happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. I know you're doing some really cool things. You've got this cool project that you're launching, and I'd kind of like to just start right there. Just jump right into the cool project, and we'll come back to the backstory. But the Elite Circle. So you're starting this thing, and this really goes along with what we're talking about. It's a strategic CFO group for high-performing salon owners. So could you tell us a little bit more about it and what inspired you to bring this off the ground and launch it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So one thing that I really like, and I found out over the years, is that I really enjoy collaboration. I really enjoy the idea of people coming together and bringing their expertise and their thoughts to what I like to think of as throw into the pool of meaning for there to be a higher understanding of ideas or things of that nature. With CFO work, a lot of times it's one-to-one, right? So me and my team will work with a business on their particular goals and objectives and give them strategy. But what I found to be very valuable in other coaching scenarios are having situations where you have multiple owners that are in similar field and that they're able to chime in what has worked for them, what's not working. Typically, you'll have different personalities that will mesh well. Hopefully, there's not too much clashing, but you'll have people that are able to learn from each other and being in those spaces. So I thought it'd be a great idea to develop something where we can provide advisory help and support to beauty businesses and salon owners with that type of framework in mind. So what we're doing is that we're building cohorts or circles of members and entrepreneurs of up to 10. And what we'll do is that we have aspects that are one-to-one with our team and that entrepreneur, but then also aspects that are cohort related, that are group related, whether it's monthly calls that we're having, the strategy sessions, we're going to have guests that come in and speak to different pieces of the business. So it's not just purely financials and numbers, but it's going to be a holistic growth between a group of individuals that get to grow together and reaching their goals and holding each other accountable.
What I love about that idea is rock stars tour together. You have different people who have different knowledge and expertise, different experience, all coming together and sharing their perspective. And sometimes you can have somebody, like you were saying, maybe they're even in the same business. They're both salon owners, right? But somebody said, I've tried this thing 5 or 6 times. It doesn't work. Someone else says, oh, I've tried it and it does work. And here's what we do that crack through and make this strategy work.
Yeah. And I'll add as well, like the biggest growth that I've seen in my firms has definitely been through collaborating with others that also are building similar things. Some of my most cherished relationships right now are people that are in a similar space, building a similar thing because they understand what I'm going through. As entrepreneurs, as business owners, we understand that a lot of time our role is really lonely. There's not really a lot of peers, at least locally, what we're doing, right? We're the owner, we're the leader. So it can be really challenging to have that camaraderie. A lot of times, even if you have family, like they don't quite understand what it's like to have all that burden and stressed on you, what, that you're thinking about things in the business when you're out doing something that's supposed to be fun or et cetera. It's always wearing on you. So having people that are in your corner that understand what you're going through, they understand the pain points, they can celebrate the highs. Like there'll be times where I'm really excited about something that happened in my business, but for people that I don't know, they're like, okay, I don't know how to celebrate that with you. So I have found that whether it be masterminds or group workshops or different things where it's communal and it's continual, that you have, like you said, the rock stars, you have people that are together, they understand what's happening. And I think that's a really important element that I'm wanting to bring to the beauty businesses at large is more community and more developing together to bring the industry forward.
And that is awesome that you have that vision. And I know there's a lot of people that have thought, I want to do something like this. I want to doing something like this. What has helped you go from idea into action?
Sure. Yeah. No, that's a great question. And it's also one that I feel like I'm in the middle here. I am doing, but it's not done, right? It's not done until you're doing it. So for me, though, a lot of what I work with clients is taking something that's a goal and putting like a roadmap, making like an actionable step plan to make sure that we are actually working towards that goal. It's not enough to say, I want this to happen. It's, okay, how are we going to get there? And what are the steps to get there? And then the biggest piece is that accountability of, okay, it's been said out loud, it's been mapped out. Have we taken the step? Have we taken step one? There's a lot of, even in my personal life, I feel like there's a lot of conversations I've had with people about, okay, we just have to show up. We have to show up to this step and we have to lift our foot and we have to take the step. And we don't know what's going to happen after that, but let's do that and see what happens. And so that's, for me, is the important part of being able to build something like this, is to put it out there, create the roadmap, and then take the actual step so you can be held accountable.
I love the idea of taking a step forward, even if you don't know what the next step is. Some of the people I really admire, and they may identify, they're saying, you're talking about me if they're listening in, but I really admire, but there's the, what about this? What if this happens? What if that happens? And so while it's good to think ahead and think about potential scenarios, what do you tell people that are blocking their progress because they're overthinking, they're trying to be proactive and protective, and they don't want to make a bad step, but yet they're overthinking it to the point they're not making progress?
Sure. And the term overthinking is like a trigger term for me, because I've been called that for most of my life. Like my wife, or I think it's my daughter, maybe, they bought me a shirt that said, oh, I'm an overthinker, something like that. And I refused to wear it. I was like, this is so triggering. Like, I'm not an over, I'm a smart thinker. I think through things and you guys don't. But I totally understand where you're coming from, because actually I had this conversation this morning with someone I was meeting with. And it's the idea that, especially in my industry, financial services, we tend to excel because we slow down, we look at the details, we look at the risks, and we want to make sure that we stay compliant and that everything works out. Sometimes that can be challenging as an entrepreneur, especially in our field, that we're trying to grow businesses as well and reach impact at a wide scale. You have to be able to scale, you have to take risks. And sometimes we have challenges in that growth because we're very risk averse, because that's not like what we offer for clients, right? We're telling them to slow down and not be as risky. So for me, we talked about how there's balance between the two. Like, you want to have someone that is willing to take the risk, to take the leap of faith, right? But you also want to have someone that's supporting them, that is helping them, like, to catch them when they don't quite make the next step or when they stumble. You know, the lady I was talking to, she had a client that is just 100% just go. And then she's, oh my goodness, there's all these pieces I have to pick up. And I was like, that client he's growing rapidly because he has someone like you in his corner that's able to support him in his just brazen, like, excitement and adventure, and let's just do whatever it takes. And so for me, going back to the collaboration piece, is really important to have people in your corner that balance you out. You don't want everybody that to be an echo chamber and be just like you, because you're not really going to see a lot of movement, progress, and growth. So I would recommend people to look for people that are different than them. Look for people that have the opposite personality. Look for someone that is a risk taker if you're not one. Or if you want to grow to become a risk taker, look for someone that is even more risk averse than you and say, hey, can you have my back when I go take this leap? And they will have your back.
You just brought up a good point that I have failed to connect the dot on, or maybe I did, but a lot of the people that I work with are in that accounting space and are a bit more conservative. They know their stuff, but they are a little bit more on the, so as an amplifier, usually one of the things I'll do is lightly help them get charged on that vision, get that plan, and then help them take those steps forward, because it is finding that balance. And it is helpful for me. Also, I do have a business partner who's a bit more on the conservative side, who can help me not follow Nike's "just do it" slogan too many times, and then you're just doing too many things. That's the opposite of the spectrum. So there is a balance. So I think I really like what you say, is making sure that you're building and finding a team or a group that has a bit of diversity of skill set, because It's the yin and the yang, the charge but hold, that really makes things click and work.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've really appreciated about what you're doing is you have a niche. It's one of the things that we're advocates for. Our frameworks really can work for all different industries, but we've niched with people in the coaching and advisory space because we can relate to them and we know how to help them get to where they want to go. You're helping salons. Curious to know your backstory of kind of what got you to where you are today and how you're working with salons.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. My wife is a cosmetologist. I met her in college and she was like, "Hey, parents, I want to go to beauty school." And I was there with her when she talked to them about that. And they're like, "Oh, will this work?" I'm like, "Yes, this will work." And so been with her for every step of the journey. So understood the industry as a outsider that's close to it for a while. Eventually, once we got married, moved here to Dallas, and she worked for a while, she decided to open up her own salon and needed that person with her to help with a lot of the back end unglamorous business type of things. And that person ended up being me. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this as a joint venture together. We can build this. I can run back end and you can run front house, right? And so being in the industry, just from my role, was very eye-opening. It was a lot different than as an outsider looking in and saying, oh, this is what a salon is, or this is what people do in this, and this is what it takes to succeed in this and make great impact. So being in it was very different. So once it became time where it's like, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur on my own and build something where I can impact people. At first I was a generalist. I start with accounting and bookkeeping and things of that nature with Salon Bookkeepers. Before, at that time, it wasn't called that yet, but I was just like helping whoever needed help. But it became clear, okay, I want to focus in on an industry that I know and that I care about. And that's an industry that I've been involved in for a long time. And I've seen a big need for people in the financial space to come in and handhold a lot and also bring a lot of value in terms of education and just bringing the industry forward. So that's something that I really want to be a part of. And so that's when I went all in on Salon Bookkeepers. Once it became clear that a lot of what I was doing for my clients was more on advisory than it was actually like nuts and bolts of bookkeeping, then that's when I started to get the itch to, okay, let's do something more. I started with services that I offered with Salon Bookkeepers, but then it became clear that I could do that in a more effective way, focusing on fractional CFO work and advisory. And so that's when I started the Salon CFO. And so for me right now, my goal is taking an industry is huge, it's wide, it's vast. You have someone that's coming in as an 18-year-old and starting a business and don't even know that's what they're doing when they're working out of a chair, to those that have like massive franchises and what we would call empires, right? So it's a very massive industry, but not with a lot of organized help and organized path for how you can achieve whatever your goal is. And so that's something that I'm hoping to help in terms of bringing into this industry as well.
I can applaud that focus and awareness. I have that similar, I can relate to that basically, because you have knowledge and expertise that a lot of people will think, I already have someone who's doing that, right? I already have a bookkeeper, I already have an accountant. From your perspective, there's a lot of things you're probably not doing. There's a lot of missed opportunities, and there are things that you could start changing today that would have a huge impact on your tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if they don't get that fresh perspective, if they don't see a new possibility for their business, they may continue to do the things that they've been doing. They're doing good already. There's always an opportunity to improve and optimize and make better.
Yes.
What do you think is the biggest area that most of your ideal prospects, they may already be in business, maybe they're doing good already, but what is the biggest missed gap that you see most of them making that's probably having them leave a lot of opportunity on the table?
Sure. No, yeah, that's a great question. If I was to try to summarize it or make this a small answer, not a really big answer, I would say, honestly, collaboration is the biggest part. In a lot of other industries, there's what I would call natural synergy between from one point to one point, where you'll see, okay, it makes sense for us to have an attorney as part of our team at this juncture. We have this business broker for this function, and then an insurance agent. And so there's a lot of synergy between all of these industries and a lot of connections that are formed. And so it's natural to understand that this is part of the business building process, that we lean on these people for these things that they have strengths in, and then we focus in on what we're really good at, right?
Mhm.
I think for whatever reason in the beauty industry that there's a lot of thought of like you take on everything you possibly can and like you only react to the fires. And so it's okay, like my business is big enough to where I can't use TurboTax anymore. So I'm gonna find somebody to do my taxes. And if someone says CPA, that's they do taxes. Okay, let me find someone that says they're CPA and they'll do my taxes. And they told me to do this. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. And so there's this level of distrust of bringing in professional services to help build the business, but then there's this level of overtrust when that person is brought in to where there's not enough education to understand, like, are they really meeting my needs? Are they doing a good job for me? Like they may do a great job for all of their other type of clients, but because salon industry is so unique and different with its structures and its different things of the tips and retail, it's like an intersection of all these different types of things all in one, right? And so having people that understand that balance of how do you approach that and navigate that, getting business owners to really understand their business and look at it as a business so that they know who to lean on and who to trust, right? So I think it's the combination of having those strategic partners that you're working with to build your business, the collaboration that you have to have the network of saying, hey, who are you guys using for insurance? Who are you guys using to hire or bring in new employees? Who are you guys using for financial advice? How are you guys thinking about the future? Are you guys going to sell your business one day? Are you guys going to expand? What are you guys doing? Like being in those circles and asking those questions, educating themselves and continuing to develop as business owners rather than just as people that are good at their craft, the best person to do this hairstyle or to provide this nail service, et cetera. So I think that's the biggest gap that I'm seeing so far in the industry.
I have 2 teenage boys now, and so I've watched a lot of Marvel movies. The Avengers is a great idea of like how you need different people on your team to come together. Each of them on their own can provide some value, but it's the synergistic relationship, how they each bring something to the table that makes them an unstoppable force. And if you're going to build a business and really compete and have something that's lasting, you want to build your business Avenger team.
Absolutely. I love that. That's a great analogy.
So that's really cool. Now we're talking about some cool things. Let's talk about maybe the time that you faced a challenge in your own business and your own growth and how you overcame that.
So I would go back to starting this business with my wife, right? First of all, starting a business with your partner can be a great thing or something else.
I'm still married.
Yes, me too. I have mine too. There you go. All right. One of the things that I didn't realize when I first started was the importance of alignment. When she's, hey, I want to start a business, start my own hair salon, I'm like, that's a great idea. Definitely can do this. You have great skills and I can help with this and we can make this work. Let's do it. In my mind, I already had a vision. I was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to grow this to be this large. We can make it like scalable. We can even make it into like a franchise. You do hair extensions, and it's like early on in the hair extension craze, almost 20 years ago at this point. And so it's like, okay, we can really make this work. And so I had a very specific idea about how I wanted things to go. And so the systems and structures I built were based off of that and off of scaling and growing. Come to find out, she did not have that vision. And she's very much, I want to keep this small. I want to keep this simple. I want to focus in on the clients. I don't want to have a team or a large team, et cetera, et cetera. So we had a lot of clashing in the beginning because for me, it was like, no, this is how you build a business. This is how we become successful. This is how we reach our ultimate goals. And so it was a lot of fighting and back and forth because there was not alignment in our vision and the purpose of what we were trying to accomplish. And so that was really low because that affected our marriage as well. Like they had some really hard times because everything felt like it was an extension of the fight of how should we be doing things, right, in our business. So I had to take a step back and realize, okay, this is like first and foremost her dream. This is what she does as a career, and I'm coming in as support. So I need to be supportive and not the one that is spearheading this. And so I had to learn a lot about how to lead by being a support and how to also make sure that if I am yielding and submitting in that scenario, how to make sure that I am actually yielding and submitting and not trying to finagle my way into making things the way I want. But all that to say again is that it taught me the importance of alignment. And that making sure from the very beginning that everyone that you're working with, everyone that is being a part of the mission, part of the purpose, that they understand what the purpose is and that you're all aligned on it so that you can move forward, or otherwise there's going to be that friction and that tug of war.
Such a great story. And I'm glad you shared that and we're open. Thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah.
I had the idea of working with my wife early on. She's like, "Oh, no." And in hindsight, that wouldn't have gotten very far. We probably wouldn't have 2 kids today, and we wouldn't be having this podcast. But I think that the challenge is just that you went through did have the silver lining of now giving you a superpower of being able to connect with your prospects, your clients, and you understand the importance of really getting clear on what their vision is.
Yeah.
You know that you're there to help support them clear the path so that they can have financial clarity, so they can improve their profitability, so that they can build a business that's really great for them. That's such an important thing. And a lot of people don't take the time to do that. So the fact that you have that figured out and that's how you lead is amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite parts about what I do is that initial onboarding, if you want to call it that, where we are talking about, okay, what are we doing here? Not what are we doing today, but like, why? What are we doing? Where are we going? Let's figure out everything that we do today should be an action that leads us towards the next step, right? We were talking about steps. They should lead us towards something. And so in order for us to know where we're going, we need to figure that out. Are we going to want to sell one day? Are we going to want to build it to a certain financial place where you're stepping out of a major role? Do you love it and you want to like 10 more of it? Do you want to keep it status quo, which is absolutely fine? So I want to build to this and then keep it like this and have this lifestyle for a certain amount of time. It's like whatever it is that we're doing is let's figure that out. And so once we do the goal, like we talked about earlier, set the goal, let's do the roadmap. And then lastly, the best part is that accountability. Hey, what are we doing, guys? Oh, we said we're going to do this by this time. So yeah, it's really important, again, that alignment from the very beginning so that we can all be on the same page and that we all can make sure that accountability feels good, because it's like, oh yeah, that is what I want. That goes towards my ultimate goal.
I'm going to edit this guy out.
I know you're good.
Okay. Pardon me.
I know you're good.
Thank you very much for sharing your story and for sharing the insights of how people need to have clarity on where they're at compared to where they want to go, their vision, the importance of having a guide that can help you see your blind spots, your bottlenecks, and hold you accountable so that you're playing your best hand. For those who want to learn more about you, your business, and how you provide value, where should they go and what should they do?
Absolutely. So in general, you can go to chat.thesaloncfo.com, which give you a little bit of information about us. You can book a time to have a discovery call. I love to chat with business owners in the beauty space, see what they're up to. There's so many cool people I've been talking to lately about different ventures that they're trying that are offshoots of just a salon or just a beauty brand that they're creating, but maybe it's a technology that helps them serve a problem that they've had in the beauty space, and just helping them to understand, okay, what do we need to get that going? So just talking shop and then offering some tools, free tools that I have as well to get them going in the direction they need. So that will be the best place to start. You can also follow on Instagram. I'm the Salon CFO there, and I'm getting on TikTok a little bit more. So you can follow me there, and there'll be more content up there soon. But then lastly, as I mentioned, the elite circle that we talked about at the beginning with the cohort group, and you can go to elite.thesaloncfo.com. and you can find out information about that group. We're hoping to get our next cohort filled up by the end of this year so that we can start fresh into the next year and get going with some of those goals.
Super awesome, my friend. Thank you so much.
It went by so quickly. Yeah.
As one of the parting ways we have for this, you've shared a lot of insights here, but what is something that you've learned on your journey that might be helpful for someone on theirs? It could be related to business or anything else you've learned in life. What is surfacing for you at this moment?
Yeah, for me, it is the balance of whoever I am today, all right, whatever feels comfortable to me, what's going to get me to where I'm going is going to be beyond who I am. So the person that I'm going to be is the person that's going to have the success and the accolades and the result, right? So I need to continue to look for opportunities to grow, which means leaning into discomfort. So that's been the thing that has been sticking with me is, okay, I don't want to drive this far to go to this networking group, or I don't want to work on Saturday or go to this event here, even jumping on more things like podcasts and things like that. It's okay, this is a little bit of a stretch, but this is the stretch that connects to your purpose and what you're trying to accomplish. And so like in order for you to reach that goal, You need to do something a little different than what you've been doing before. So that's been the biggest thing for me.
I love that. Lean into that discomfort, embrace it.
Yes.
It'll make you stronger.
Absolutely.
William, you're an amplifier. Highly appreciate you. Thank you for who you are and what you do. If you're tuning in to Growth Amplifiers, make sure you're not just listening, you're getting a nugget and you're putting new ideas into action. It's about taking new actions to achieve new results so that you can amplify, be the best version of yourself. Thank you so much, William. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Same. Appreciate it.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.